Hello, and welcome to The Pool is Abstract, where we're currently rewatching and dissecting the revived series of Doctor Who episode by episode. My name is Connor, and with me...
My name is Charlotte.
Hi, Charles. So, we watched episode 2 of series 1. It's called The End of the World. It aired for the first time on the 2nd of April, 2005. In comparison to last time, we're not going to have anywhere near as much, preamble.
No.
Because last time we had to kind of introduce what we're doing generally as a concept, and we kind of talked about ourselves for a bit and what our relationship is with the show. So if you missed that one, then go check that out for any context, I guess. I don't really have anything to say introducing this one. I think we can just jump straight into it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, obviously written by Russell T Davies again. I will probably go over it at the end as far as an episode recap and what we thought of the whole thing, but just off of the bat, what first impressions?
So, I don't know. It's definitely better than Rose.
Do you think so?
Well, I think it's a more interesting story. However, I feel like there seems like a lot more convenience and plot holes.
Yeah.
In this one.
The thing for me is it's not conveniences, it's anti-conveniences. It seemed like the actual the actual sort of threats and dangers in the episode seem kind of manufactured a little bit more, where they seem to come out a bit more naturally in Rose. Yeah, we'll talk about it more in detail, I guess, in the end. But overall, I actually think Rose is slightly better. But
I'm still on the fence. I still haven't decided.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We'll go through and we'll revisit at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
So the episode starts with a recap of kind of not the Auton plot of Rose, but more so just Rose and the Doctor's relationship and how they met and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of the few episodes to actually have a recap, because normally you have the second part of a two-parter will have this is what happened in the last episode and here's the cliffhanger, where individual stories don't tend to have them. So it's kind of weird that this one does. Again, the only reason I can think of is either because the last one was the first episode.
Yeah, that's what I probably think.
Or maybe because
it flows as you
said, there's no
right into it.
We see that last shot again of Rose running towards the TARDIS in slow motion, and then obviously that's where it cut to credits last time, but now she just runs straight into the TARDIS, so maybe they did the recap so they could just carry that shot on again. Don't really know, but either way, she runs straight into the TARDIS. We get that continue the next shot kind of continues on where she runs in, and the Doctor basically asks where she wants to go.
She says the future.
Yeah, he says future or past. She says future. You can tell that she clearly he says how far, and you can tell she's whoa. She's got she has no understanding of the capabilities of the TARDIS yet.
I mean, even if you did, even you as a Doctor Who fan, if the Doctor tomorrow turned up and was where do you want to go? Would you have an exact date?
Well, probably not, but I feel like I'd be a bit more ambitious than 100 years.
I don't know. I think I'd more likely want to see 100 years.
That would be too depressing.
I mean, but...
Because that's something, you're not going to be alive in 100 years' time, but you'll be alive close enough to that to kind of see the state the world's going to be in by the time you die. I don't think I want that. You'd have to you'd go 1,000 years at least, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just go 100. Because I don't think the world changes that much in 100 years.
I don't know. You should go 100 years ago.
1923.
Yeah.
Great Depression.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm definitely experiencing some Great Depression. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just in technology point of view, do you mean?
Yeah. Did they have... No, they wouldn't have had television in the 20s, would they?
No television. They had radio.
Yeah. When was TV?
I want to say 50s, yeah, 40s, 50s.
Yeah, because they had films in the 20s, but obviously that would have been going to a cinema and actually having them on a projector. Yeah, I want to say late 40s, maybe early 50s for television.
I would have thought so. I'm not 100%
I have
sure.
I have nothing to back that up other than my vague recollection of The Idiot's Lantern, which I think is set in the 40s because it's the Queen's coronation and everyone it's like a new thing where everyone are getting tellies.
Yeah. I want to say like for like I assume the wealthier, maybe in the 40s and 50s. It's like,
Again, I don't think it was a thing like it's not like everyone in
no, I think like even
one.
in like the 60s and 70s, people were still kind of getting TVs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think by that point it might have been like most people had them, but again, by that point it was like the rich had color TVs.
Yeah.
And everyone else was still rocking the black and white.
But yeah, I think the world has changed a lot in 100 years. So I don't know, it'd just be a bit more. But anyway.
Yeah, so she kind of like she's not that ambitious with her choice. She says like, oh yeah, 100 years, and you can tell the Doctor's a bit like, come on, we can do better than that. So he kind of whizzes forward a bit. I love the controls for the Coral TARDIS.
I've made a note here just because how much when they go, is it like 3 billion years when they go to see like the end of the world? I love how just frantically he's pumping the bicycle pump.
I know, he locks eyes with Rose. He's making eye contact with massive like... grin on his face, and he's just pumping this like this bicycle pump.
Yeah.
But it's weird because it's like all the classic series had the TARDIS control scheme be like, it was like you get that center console that's like 6 panels, and there's like one side's got like a keyboard and the rest are just like buttons.
Yeah.
And then in the new series, you get some more things like Capaldi's TARDIS has that lever.
Yeah.
It's like a handbrake that it's like a really satisfying like thing when he pulls it down. Doesn't Smith's TARDIS have like a bell?
I think so.
I don't know. But
yeah, isn't it like a
like a bellhop bell, like you'd have like a hotel reception thing. But the Coral TARDIS is like it's just made up of random pieces.
Yeah, it is. It is like he has gone to a junkyard.
Yeah.
And just grabbed whatever he's found.
I mean, it works aesthetically because, like, just after the Time War, and it's all very, like, Smith says it was my grunge phase and everything. But, like, yeah, like I say, he's got, like, a bicycle pump, and that's somehow part of it. He's got, like, a squeaky wheel where he goes, and he doesn't do it in this episode, but in one of the episodes, he bangs it with a hammer. To get it to work. I mean, there's a bit in The Runaway Bride where he's trying to pilot, Tennant is trying to pilot the TARDIS, and he pulls this one lever that's literally a screwdriver. It's a screwdriver that's like been stabbed into something, and then he like ties a piece of string around it with his teeth to like pilot the TARDIS. So yeah, this whole like setup is just entirely like ghetto.
Yeah, I'd say obviously they go into the future.
Well, yeah. So he's not impressed by 100 years.
No.
Thing, so he takes her to 12,005 for the new Roman Empire. She says, "Oh, you think you're so impressive?"
And he's like,
"I am so impressive." So they jump forward and they land on an observation deck called Platform 1 in the year, I have it written down, the year 5 billion, also known as 5.5/Apple/26.
Again, I wrote /Apple.
Yeah.
What?
5.5/Apple/26, which is 5 billion.
Yeah. Why Apple?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. Just Apple. Maybe
capitalism.
I was gonna say maybe like Apple have really kicked off. Like they own the world.
Thing is, Apple weren't even like they were big in 2005, but they're not as like mainstream as they are today.
Because when did the first Apple phone come out?
The first iPhone probably would have been after this. I'd have thought the first iPhone would have been about 2007, maybe.
Yeah, obviously they had the computers before that, but yeah.
I'll Google that quick.
But yeah, so they get onto the ship or the observation deck.
2007 was the first iPhone.
So yeah.
So they come out into the observation deck, and the Doctor basically explains, this is the end of the world. Mm-hmm. That's our cold open. That's when we get our opening titles.
Rose just like,
just a surprise Pikachu meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously Rose is a bit concerned. She's like, well, what about all the people down there?
Yeah.
And he says, there's no one there. It's empty.
Well. He said there's no people there. He didn't say there was no animals there.
Poor cats.
Don't say that. It's fine, right? Because they've mutated.
Think of all the spiders that died down there.
Goodbye. I'm sorry.
You don't like spiders, do you?
No, I wouldn't want that for them, but no, I don't like them.
No. So she says, like, is this what you do? Do you just swoop in at the last minute and save the day? And he basically says, no, I'm not saving it. It's time to go. So we basically find out that the Earth has been evacuated. There's nobody on it. It's now owned by the National Trust, and that the sun should have expanded and taken the Earth over a while ago, but the sun's being held back by gravity satellites. But he basically says the money has run out.
Yeah. So they're just gonna let it eat it.
So yeah, they're gonna stop powering the gravity satellites, let the sun consume the Earth, and they've made an event of it. That's capitalism for you.
Hell yeah.
So the rich are going to platform 1 to watch the world burn. Yeah, so
they make forgotten what he is, but he's like the controller, isn't he?
The steward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's bluish.
He is blue. I had a friend that was bluish. Yeah. So the steward comes out. He accuses them of being like trespassers or something, and the doctor shows him his psychic paper. I think that's the first appearance of the psychic paper.
Yeah.
I mean, it is in New Who. I'm still working my way through the classic series, so I don't know if it appears. I don't think it does. So I think that in the Doctor Who canon, that's its first appearance.
If so, then I mean, I love the idea of it. I think it's very cool. But again,
I prefer the psychic paper to the sonic.
Really?
Concept, like the sonic is undoubtedly like more useful. Like if I could have one, I'd rather the sonic because it's more like versatile. But I just think as a gimmick, as like a plot device, the sonic gets not just overused, but because it can do so many things. In like I'd say from Smith's era onwards, it kind of becomes a bit of a magic wand, and it's like when Eccleston uses it, you notice he holds it kind of like a pen light. So he'll go up to like a panel and he kind of holds it like it's a torch, like he's like using it just to like tweak things. Whereas like Smith pulls it out of his coat and he starts pointing it at things like it's Harry Potter's wand. And yeah, he uses it in the Christmas Carol to like catch fish.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't work on wood.
Yeah, he still hasn't got a setting for wood. But yeah. So yeah, first appearance of the psychic paper. If you don't know, it basically shows somebody whatever you want them to see. Well, sometimes it shows people what you want them to see, and sometimes it shows people what they want to see anyway.
Maybe they want to see what you want to see.
Depending on who wrote the episode, the psychic paper does different things.
Yeah.
Same with the Sonic, I guess.
I was going to say same with Sonic. Again, back to last episode, something I noted down here, how you said Rose is very much, she just kind of goes along with what the Doctor says.
Yeah,
and
she kind
just
of
says,
lets
he's
stuff
blue. The Doctor goes, yeah. She goes, okay.
Yeah. She kind of, he's blue. Yeah. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Just accepts he's blue.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that like really draws the Doctor to Rose. Obviously, they always had loads of companions in the classic series and in the revived series, but I think that's why he's. I mean, it probably helps that he's like so raw from the Time War and everything, but I think that's something that he really likes, because it's like even like Clara's got this thing where by the time she's comfortable with the Doctor, she's kind of got that similar attitude of like take it as it comes and you know, war of the ducks back type of thing. But when you think about the Bells of St. John, when Eleven and Clara meet for the first time, he kind of stalks her for a bit. Like she's not interested, and he has to like camp outside her house and just like wear her down. Where like Rose is instantly just like game. Yeah,
she just as we'll go to discuss later on. So so they eventually go to the main room where
so they go to the main room,
like the viewing room. Or something.
All the other guests arrive. So you got the Mox of Balhoun, it's a little blue dude. You've got the Face of Bo, who's just a big old head in a tank. Yeah. He doesn't really have much to do in this episode.
No.
But
he just sits there.
We'll see him a few more times, but he doesn't really do much in this one, does he? He's just kind of sat dressing. You got Trees from the Forest of Cheam. You got the adherents of the repeated meme, which are just kind of Nazgul.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like black, hooded, robed figures. And then you've got Lady Cassandra Delta 17. Moisturize me. Yeah, so all the guests have brought gifts to hand over to each other, usually something like from their culture. Obviously, because the Doctor and Rosa just kind of stumbled into this, they haven't come prepared.
No, and the Doctor's a massive flirt.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Tennant has that reputation for being the flirty Doctor, but Eccleston's just as bad.
Yeah, definitely. So I give you the oxygen for my lungs, and she's like, ooh.
The difference is Tennant knows he's hot. So, like, Tennant's a flirt, but he's got that, like, that thing of, like, oh, I'm a bit too, like, I'm too good for you. Well, like,
Yeah.
Eccleston's like...
He's like, oh, I'll take what I can get. Like, I'm putting it out there. You're giving it back. I'm happy.
Yeah. So Jabe, who is one of the trees from the Forest of Cheam, gives the Doctor a trimming from her grandfather, I think she says. He kind of panics because he hasn't got a gift, so he gives her air from his lungs. And just kind of breathes on her.
And she's a tree, she likes that.
Yeah, she does like that. Carbon dioxide and all that. Yeah, the Moxabal Hoon shows up. I give you the gift of bodily saliva. Just gobs in Rose's face.
And I love the fact that the Doctor is just chuckling.
He's loving it.
He's just like, yeah.
Yeah. And then the adherents of the repeated meme show up and they kind of give these like metal balls, these little spheres.
The Doctor breathes on them too.
Yeah, he does.
They're not as receptive.
No, they don't even really acknowledge it.
No, they just like take the silver sphere.
Yeah. Cassandra, so her gifts are, she brings the last ostrich egg, which she describes as being like having a wingspan of 20 feet or something. I
think it was 50 feet, 50 and it was like breathes fire. Yeah,
breathes fire from its nostrils. I love this. I love it when they take commonplace things from Earth, but obviously because it's so far in the future, it's just all twisted. Because Russell does it again in Voyage of the Damned, when you've got Mr. Copper, who's supposed to be like the Earth historian, and he talks about the holiday of Christmas.
Yeah,
and he says they sacrifice the people of Turkey.
I like that as well.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about that conceptually that I quite like.
The example here of the jukebox, but she says it's an iPod.
Yeah. They called it an iPod. She plays one of, music from one of Earth's most classical composers, and then starts playing Tainted Love. Yeah,
and then the Doctor's just dancing. Just my favorite. To him.
The amount of times I've seen that GIF of Eccleston just bobbing his head, it's my favorite thing in the world.
So pure.
Little sort of fun fact is in the original script, along with the ostrich egg and the iPod / jukebox. She was gonna have a glass container which had the first edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in it. Which,
why didn't that happen?
I don't know. But I the only reason I bring that up, like there's loads of things like that, but the only reason I bring that up is because I think it's interesting because obviously the lady whose name escapes me that plays Cassandra obviously played Madame Hooch in The Philosopher's Stone. Yeah. I can't quite remember her name off the top of my head.
I just know it. I know people are going to be like, shame, but what's it called? Is it My Family? I think it's My Family.
I haven't seen that.
I'm almost certain it is. It was like in the, I want to say like noughties in 2010.
Zoe Wanamaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's My Family.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen that, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting thing since she would have been in that already because this is 2005 and Harry Potter was 2001, the movie. Yeah. So anyway, Tainted Love's playing. We get Eggleston's little sort of jig. The Doctor gets a parking ticket.
Yeah.
for leaving his not even for leaving his TARDIS anywhere in particular, but for using a teleport because teleportation is prohibited on the platform. So while the Doctor's out sort of sorting out the parking ticket, Rose goes and talks to Ruffalo. Yeah. Who is another bluish person. She's an engineer.
She's a plumber.
Oh shit!
She's a plumber.
No, I missed that. Did you write that down?
How did you miss that? Because Rose is literally like, so what are you, a plumber? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, those jobs still exist. And she's like, I hope so.
I'm not gonna lie.
You weren't paying attention.
I might have been distracted by the blue.
Connor.
That's racist.
That's racist.
No, I think I might have been making.
Bluish.
I think I might have been making a note about Tainted Love when that scene was on.
I mean, I was also making a note. Yeah, I wrote down this that Rose is having a crisis because this is then when she says, "I don't even know who he is."
Yeah, so they talk about where they're from, and Rose is clearly like a bit intimidated because Rafala said I didn't write any of this down because she goes on a full-on like spiel, but she says she's from some random planet, some random quadrant, some random galaxy, and Rose is like, I have no idea what any of this is. And Rafalo asks, well, where are you from? And she obviously can't say, well, I'm from down there.
No.
So she kind of says like,
well, she won't say to this lovely woman that she's met that I'm from Earth. But she then goes to Cassandra later, which we'll go to, and she's like,
I don't know.
But anyway, yeah. So
she says like, I'm from a long way away. She kind of asks how she got there, and she says she caught a lift with the doctor, and she kind of realizes, hold on, I don't even know who this bloke is. This is just some bloke I met.
They've just gone away
I've literally
with.
hopped in a box and traveled 5 billion years into the future and into outer space with, and I don't even know who he is.
Which is funny because it's like the first time that Rose actually kind of takes a moment.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because we talked about how she just takes everything and kind of accepts it at face value, and I think because she's so accepting of stuff, this is like her first time where she's actually like, whoa, hold on.
Who are you?
Yeah, who is this dude? Which, again, do we have that with other companions?
I feel like Martha might have.
No, I don't think so, because obviously Martha's introduced with the whole like moon incident. The first like adventure out is in the Shakespeare Code. And she's more pissed off because she's got the hots for the doctor, and the doctor's just like still hung up on Rose. So she's a bit annoyed about that. But she doesn't have this whole like, oh, I don't even know who you are. Why have I run off with you thing?
I mean, Clara kind of does it because after she's talking to Danny Pink, and he's like,
I think the thing with Clara is more that she had a different doctor.
She's conflicted.
She ran off with 11, but I think she's more conflicted with 12 because it's not even I don't know. It's not that I don't know who this person is, full stop. But it's like she thinks she doesn't know who this person is because in her eyes it's a different person.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rose gets a bit overwhelmed and she leaves. As she leaves, Rafalo finds some little robot spiders in the vent,
and just gone.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
She gets
I
pulled
feel like
into
this
the
is going to
vent.
happen a lot in this thing. It's like, how did this happen?
I know it's like it's BBC, it's Russell, so it's going to be a bit camp, but I have no idea how. I mean, what did we see? Were there like four of them based on the lights on her head?
No, there was more than 4.
Even then, these things are very small.
Yeah, and they just...
Yeah, and they full on snatch her up and pull her into the vent.
She was just like...
She screams.
She's gone.
Never see her again.
No.
Probably dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably put her in like one of the rooms for...
So we basically find out that these like little robot spiders, they basically come from those metal balls that the adherents of the repeated meme game gave as gifts.
Yeah.
They even gave one to the steward, which comes into play in a minute. Rose finds the doctor again. She asks where he's from. He kind of dances around the question a little bit,
and she just gets frustrated.
Yeah, they have a bit of a row. It's kind of like an awkward silence, and then
she's like, "My friend told me
as my mate Shireen says,
don't argue with
the designated driver
or something."
Yeah,
I like the fact that the doctor just is like a little nod, just like.
Well, that's the thing. You can tell like he's so sulky. So he's like standing there in his leather jacket with his arms crossed, like, you're having a go with me, but remind me of my planet. But then as soon as she says, don't argue with the designated driver, he's like, okay. And then he just like, it's like nothing happened.
I mean, to be fair, like, she jumped in I mean, this guy, again, like she said, she didn't know who he is, so she's just jumped in. It's not his fault if she's
This is
not
what I think
vibing
Russell
it.
does right, though, because it's like, you can understand the frustration on both sides.
Yeah.
Because there is that side where you're like, yeah, to be fair, Rose doesn't know who this guy is.
No.
So this guy's just come out of nowhere, kind of taken her away. Granted, he asked her and she did volunteer. She did come along by choice. So he didn't, like, kidnap her, but the Doctor did kidnap a bunch of companions in Classic Who. The amount of companions in Classic Who that just stumble into the TARDIS thinking it's a police box, and then it just takes off.
Gone.
Yeah, so you can understand why Rose is like the way she is.
Right, carry on.
But the Doctor, yeah, you can also understand why the Doctor's frustrated, because again, he's still kind of sore on losing his people and his planet, and then Rose just asking him about it. He's a bit like, well, what? It doesn't matter. He says, I'm right here, right now. That's who I am.
Yeah, which obviously we come to find much later, but I don't know whether it's intended. Obviously, he said he couldn't save them in the previous episode.
Yeah,
and obviously we find out way on that he had something to do with it all happening.
Talking about the Day of the Doctor stuff. Yeah, so that's right at the end of Series 7. There are some events that happen that kind of recontextualize this a little bit.
Yeah, so you can see he's upset. Like, obviously, as retrospectively, you could see it as he's dealing with the fact that he made a choice and he's not taking it very well. But, so they kind of make up. They're okay.
Yeah, they bring up, well, she asks how come she can understand the aliens, and he explains about the TARDIS's...
yeah, that's how they start to argue, isn't it?
Yeah, the TARDIS translation circuit, and he says, it gets inside your head and it translates everything to English. So she's speaking alien.
Yeah. And she's like, you just put something in my head without asking me. And he's like, well, I didn't think.
Yeah, he said, I never thought of it like that. Which, again, a similar thing happens in Rose with Mickey when they kind of, not kill, but, well, when he pulls the head off of Plastic Mickey.
Yeah.
And she's like, is Mickey dead? And he says, like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Which goes to show, again, I'm not sure if it's either because because of the Time War, he's adjusted to not violence, but do you know what I mean? He's kind of grown accustomed to these kind of things.
He's like lost his humanity a little.
Or whether it's just because, again, we talked about this more in the last episode, but because at least in this incarnation, he's probably been around for a good while, because we see pictures of him with the Titanic and JFK and all that stuff. Has he just traveled for so long without a companion that he hasn't had to think about the little people as much?
Probably. Yeah, so they have their tiff. And they get over it.
He zaps her phone.
Well, because she said it's not like I could hire or call a taxi because there's no signal.
Yeah.
And he, not that I know, but I'm sure you being you probably have an answer for this.
Oh dear.
So he takes her phone.
Yeah.
And he takes the battery out.
Yeah.
And he puts a new battery in.
Yeah.
And now it phones anywhere. What?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, again,
like,
even in the world where, like
he went with the Sonic, he was just like, I'm taking the battery
that's
out.
how Tennant does it.
That's what I mean. That makes, for me, I'm
that's
like, okay,
what
fair
Tennant
enough.
does with Martha. I think I can't remember if he takes the battery out, but Tennant definitely sonics Martha's phone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm almost certain he takes the battery out and then, like, sonics the motherboard or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, it's just...
Yeah, I don't know how that works, because again, even if you're buying into like, oh, well, this is some super futuristic sci-fi battery, like I could believe like, oh, this is a battery that runs forever or something, but I don't know why the battery would change the
anything,
the cell reception.
No. Also, the fact that my next question is, how does the phone know when to call?
Well, that's something that I would assume, again, it made more sense when Tennant did it, because I'd assume when he sonics, he sets it to like a configuration.
Yeah.
So unless the Doctor's like done a blue pizza and he's like, oh, here's one I made earlier, I don't really know.
What I mean. Has he done this before?
I don't know. Or probably not, because in the classic series, mobile phones weren't a thing.
He just had this thing on him in his pocket. He was just like...
Again, like when Doctor Who went off the air in 1989, mobile phones would have been the size of bricks.
Woof. But still, like, do you know what I mean? It's not even like they're in the TARDIS and he's been like, it's out of nowhere, just out of his pocket. And it's like, now you can do this.
Yeah, but he zaps her phone so she can call him mum,
Yeah.
even though she's 5 billion years in the future.
Yeah.
And what?
Just thinking of, obviously, she speaks to Jackie.
Yeah.
And she's just like, why are you calling in the middle of the day? What's wrong? And then they have a chat and then Jackie just hangs up on her.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think, again, Russell's good at that stuff. It's realistic dialogue. If I called my mum in the middle of the day, she would be like, what's
why
happened?
Are you calling me?
Because I don't call my mum in the middle of the day. That would be weird. Like, I'll either see her in person in the evening, or if I do call her, it'll be in the evening at like 7 o'clock. If I just called my mum at 1 in the afternoon, she'd be like, "Are you dead? What's happened? What do you need?
What do you need? Are you dying?"
Yeah.
I laugh because obviously she hangs up, and then Rose's instant reaction is, "She's dead now."
Yeah, she's dead. Bundle of laughs you are.
Yeah. Just laughing at him, just being like, well, she's just flip-flopping all over the place with her emotions, our Rose.
She's a teenager. She's 19.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Dude, she's 5 years younger than we are.
Don't say that. Yeah, but the Doctor's like, what?
He's 900.
I was going to say, a couple hundred years more than us, so...
Couple hundred more than us. That makes it sound like we're 600.
Moisturize me.
Yeah.
Didn't you know?
But they're chatting, and then they feel a tremor on the platform. The whole place shakes. The Doctor says that wasn't supposed to happen, so they go off to investigate. The steward is concerned. I don't know if he's speaking to somebody else, like a manager, or if he's speaking to the computer.
He's speaking to the computer, like the computer system thing.
Yeah, because we only hear like one side of this conversation.
Yeah.
But the steward is talking about it. He says on the intercom, like, "Oh, please expect like minor turbulence." And then as soon as he comes off the intercom, he's like, "That wasn't a tremor, I know." But yeah, we see the little ball, the gift that was given to him. We see it hatch, open up. Little robot spider comes out.
The sassiest spider.
Yeah, I know. It just looks him dead in the eye,
and then just presses the button.
You know, like when you see videos of a cat like knocking something off a table, and it knows what it's doing is naughty, but it makes eye contact, and then just kind of goes boop and just knocks it off.
Yeah,
the spider just looks him dead in the eye and just puts his one leg onto the one key on his keyboard that for some reason descends the sun filter.
Why?
Yeah, this is one of the things we were talking about earlier, wasn't it? Where like about it's contrived dangers. Yeah. Why is there like you'd think there'd be a password you got? If I got to put a password in work every 5 minutes because my computer locks itself for like data protection reasons, you'd think you'd have to put a pin in at least, wouldn't you, to descend the sun filter? I
don't know, because I'm not from the future. I don't know about this stuff. But if I made a platform, I would make sure that they were always up. Because even if you don't need them, it's good to have, just in case.
Yeah. That's what I said when we were watching the episode. Why is it even an option to turn them down? Why wouldn't it be on all the time? And thinking about it, maybe it's something to do with power. Maybe it's like... Maybe they've got to apply more power to the shields, and to do that, they've got to take the power away from somewhere else. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to write, like, in the mind of like a sci-fi writer, how would you justify this?
This is the thing, like, what I love to do with these is to sit there and actually think, like, how could you make this make sense? And sometimes it's like, I've come up with the most backwards ideas, and I'm thinking, I don't think anyone would buy this.
I'm just thinking that like Star Wars logic, where like I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember if it's Empire or if it's A New Hope. Wait, what?
I keep remembering the episode and remembering bits, which I'm like, this is so bullshit, and then I laugh.
No, I was thinking of that logic of like Star Wars, where it's either A New Hope or Empire, where Han Solo says, like, reroute the power to the rear deflector shields or something. So it's like, you can imagine like the Millennium Falcon's got like the shields on all around it like a bubble, but then maybe they can take the shields off of the front and apply double shields to the back type of thing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So like, you've got an amount of power, but you have to choose how you distribute it and where. Maybe that's why the shields can go on and off. Either way. But that's the thing. My question is, why can he not put the shields back up? Why can he not? Because
Well,
you see him
did
like...
you hear him? He was like, because they were like, the shields are going down, and he's like, no shields, no.
Sun filter descending.
He's like, no sun filter.
He sits there for a good 5 seconds, just going, no, 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 and he finally turns around and starts just mashing buttons, and nothing happens. So I'm like,
you get roasts.
Again, wouldn't it make more sense if like you saw the spider like hacking into like a panel on the wall, and maybe it like, I don't know, maybe it like pulls a wire or something, so it like trips the system, so literally you can't fix it, but it literally just goes up, looks him in the eye, presses a button on the keyboard, and for some reason he doesn't know how to reverse it.
Sense, Connor. Sense in this episode.
Yeah. That's the thing, Russell's normally good for that stuff. But, this is when we get our first Bad Wolf reference in the series.
Yeah.
This becomes a big thing later on. It will appear in every episode of Series 1 from here on out.
Ooh.
Until the finale. But yeah, after the tremor and everything, everyone's freaking out, and you can hear the Mox of Balhoun talking to the face of Bo, I think. And he says, "This is the Bad Wolf scenario," whatever that means. But yeah, that's like, again, some episodes, like in the next episode, the Bad Wolf reference is so much more on the nose, like you can't miss it. It's part of big dialogue, but that's kind of like a really quiet like audio thing that I think, if you were not paying attention, it's quite easy to miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, at what point does the Doctor go off with, is it Cheem?
Jabe. That's no.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is that before or after?
What?
Because carry on.
Before or after what?
It's just me trying to, because obviously they go off at 2 separate times, don't they?
Yeah, so this is when the Doctor and Jabe go down. They go to the maintenance corridors to investigate.
What's going on?
To investigate what's going on. And Rose says she's going to go talk to Cassandra. She says, "I'm going to go talk to Michael Jackson."
Yeah.
Which is a thing where I'm like, has that aged? Like, I think it's funny. But is that something that has aged badly where people will be a bit touchy about it now? Or do you reckon even back then people would have been like, because Michael Jackson would have still been alive then?
That in itself is like, oh God. Do you know what I mean? Like,
do you know what I mean? So do you think back then people would have been like, ooh, I can't have been that bad. It was on BBC.
I don't know.
I know the BBC have done sketchy stuff.
I was going to say Little Britain. That was also on the BBC, and that is...
Was that BBC as well?
Yeah.
Was it? Wow. Okay. Well, never mind. Yeah,
Take it back. Yeah.
Mid-2000s on the BBC. Oh, it was a hellhole.
They were testing the
Little
waters.
Britain. Should we do this for Little Britain?
No, I don't think we should. I think that's just...
Top 10 worst ideas.
I just think that's a dangerous route to go down for anyone. I don't think anyone should be watching.
I don't even think Little Britain's that funny.
No.
It's got a couple, like, concepts that are kind of amusing. But the thing with Little Britain is, like, they'd have a character do a bit, that was kind of funny, and then they just, every time that character came back, it was just the same bit over and over again. Like,
oh, what's his name? The guy in the wheelchair, and like...
Lou and Andy.
Yeah, when he turns around, he like does something out of the wheelchair and then gets back in.
Yeah, when he dives off that diving board and into the pool and he swims out and gets back in the chair.
Yeah, anyway, we're not going to talk about...
Yeah.
We're not gonna, I mean, it does link into Doctor Who because the two of them have been in Doctor Who.
That's true.
So, hey,
yes,
it's not that much of a tangent.
Yeah, Rose goes to talk to Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Rose goes to talk to...
Michael Jackson.
Moisturise me.
Cassandra, yeah.
And the Doctor goes off, and they're on about... the ship is like unsinkable, or it's like it's a high spec ship, and the Doctor, I mean, he could have been on anything, but seems to imply that he was on the Titanic.
Yeah.
Which one? 2.
Well, yeah, he would go on Space Titanic in a few years' time.
Yeah, but he would have. So does that mean from the episode with?
I think that was just supposed to be a direct reference to Rose, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, all we find out from Clive is that he
stopped a family.
He stopped the family from getting on there. I'm pretty sure that there is a Big Finish audio drama where the Sixth Doctor is on the Titanic somewhere. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that rings a bell. So
I wonder.
that's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Rose is talking to Cassandra, she says, yeah, that's where I'm from down there looking at Earth. She says, when I was a little boy.
I completely bypassed that.
Yeah. So, again, progressive. 2005. Do you know what I mean? This is that era where like people were still using gay as an insult. Like it was funny to call people gay.
Saying that,
so Russell planted that idea that Cassandra is transgender.
I mean, is Cassandra any gender?
Well, the name's Cassandra. We're led to believe that Cassandra's a woman, you know, being played by a woman, having a feminine voice, being called Cassandra, and when we see her in her human form again in New Earth, she is, well, looks like a woman.
Yeah.
But again, that phrase of "I was a little boy," again, it's one of those like things that like I think once you watch a lot of the Moffat episodes, a lot of that stuff you just like zone out of because they're so frequent. But then they don't happen that often in the Russell episodes.
No.
But yeah, Cassandra might be transgender. Who knows?
So yeah. So her and Rose are having a conversation. And as I said earlier, Rose is more than happy at this point to be like, I'm human.
Yeah.
I'm from Earth. And it's like, Rose, you're supposed to be undercover here. Come on.
Yeah, Cassandra thinks she thinks of herself as a bit of a pedigree. She says the others mingled because they went off and bred with other species, I'm assuming is what she's getting at, where she keeps herself pure. Rose obviously thinks that's kind of funny considering
she calls her a bitchy trampoline.
Yeah, she's a piece of skin on a frame.
Yeah.
She says she's had 708 cosmetic operations and she's having her 709th next week or something. She's having her blood bleached.
Yeah.
Ew.
I mean, ew, but I mean, it is quite distracting to see her blood pumping through.
It's gross, isn't it?
It's a bit weird. Also, is she, you know when she's being sprayed? She's being sprayed with acid.
Well,
because she's like, I'm going to get my men to spray you later on with acid.
Well, I was thinking, I don't know if those things spray two things, whether they spray the acid and the other thing, and the acid is like there so they can be used as weapons, or whether the acid is what is moisturizing her. I don't really know.
Well, I mean, funny enough,
I can't imagine acid would be very good for moisturizing skin.
That's actually, I mean, what's it called?
You're going to pull some beauty tip on me now.
I am.
Certain acids are actually very good for your skin.
They are. Lots of people use them. Is it hyaluronic acid? Yeah.
I have no idea.
They basically...
I'll just smile and nod.
It absorbs the moisture from the air and puts it... can absorb the moisture from the air and put it in the skin and keep the moisture in the skin.
That sounds unnatural.
I mean, lots of people... It's in a lot of beauty products. There's a lot of, like, acid peels and stuff for skin...
Acid peel? That does not sound good. Sounds horrible.
The scariest part of Earth is the beauty section.
Genuinely, yeah. The things that women will do, the pain that women will endure and inflict on their poor partners for the sake of beauty standards.
Oh, don't be a wimp, just because...
Mate, the amount of times you've come at me with a pair of tweezers trying to pluck my eyebrows, it hurts. I don't know how you can do that. And you just sit there, just going yonk, yonk, yonk.
Just nothing. Just nothing. Doesn't feel anything.
No, it stings. I don't like it. I take a punch to the face any day.
That's weird. But yeah, so it could be acid. Could be. Hey, I guess people never thought they would get a beauty thing on a
yeah.
on a Doctor Who
there is
podcast.
Absolutely no structure to this. I mean, we tried to have a structure, but how did we go from Little Britain to beauty products in 5 minutes?
I don't know. But anyway, I'll try and push onwards.
So Rose and Cassandra have an argument.
Yes.
Yeah, she says she calls her a bitchy trampoline. She says you're just lipstick and skin.
Yeah.
She storms off. And when she's walking down the corridor, she bumps into the adherents of the repeated memes.
And they slap her across the face.
They do. I said this in the episode, like, they don't even, like, make a fist. It's not like they punched her. They just, it's like open palm, just like,
it's like weird claw,
her.
just like, whack.
Yeah, and just knocks her unconscious.
Yeah. As this happening, the doctor and, did you say?
Jabe.
Yeah,
not Jade.
Not Jade.
Because that would make too much sense. Jabe.
Are having a conversation and saying that Jabe likes planet Earth.
Actually, is Jabe a tree?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I was thinking Jade, because Jade is a flower, isn't it?
Yeah,
but no, Jabe is a tree, isn't it?
I think so.
That makes more sense then. Never mind, ignore me.
And she's saying she's from the... Did she say the rainforest? Her descendants?
Yeah, her descendants are from Earth, from the rainforest.
Which is really interesting because, cool thought that the trees...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You don't think of trees evolving in that way. Like, you'd obviously think that obviously, like, new forms of plants grow all the time, and you can like crossbreed like certain plants and stuff. But, like, you wouldn't think of plant life being able to evolve to become sentient in the same way that people are.
Yeah, but I mean, we all started.
Weirder things have happened in Doctor Who.
Weirder things have happened in life. Do you know what I mean? I know they're not sentient, but I mean, you look at things like Venus flytraps.
Yeah, they're freaky.
They're cool.
No, they're scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, go on.
And she scans the doctor because she's trying to work out
where he's from. Yeah.
This is another question I've written down. So she obviously says that the machine she's scanning him with doesn't want to like identify him. It doesn't want to say where he's from. And when it finally gives her an answer, she says it's like impossible and she doesn't believe it's true. It blows my mind that 3 billion years into the future, right? 5 billion years into the future, something that has evolved off of Earth knows about the Doctor and Gallifrey, but no other humans do.
What, do you mean humans like in the present day?
I mean, just in general. Do you mean like
I guess it depends. Like, again, 5 billion years is a long time.
Yeah, but how would they know about that? How would they know?
Why wouldn't they? Because again,
think of how many other things that have been destroyed and blown up in Doctor Who.
Yeah, but the reason the Time Lords are kind of infamous is because the Time War itself went on to ravage. It wasn't just a war that happened on Gallifrey. It's not like, how you can say like, well, World War II happened from 1939 to 1945. You can't do that with the Time War, because the Time War was literally people going back and forwards in time to like mess with the flow of events. So the Time War was literally out of time and all of time at the same time. And it went on to devastate a bunch of other planets because the it happened in the last episode when the Doctor's talking to the Nestine consciousness, and he says, "I couldn't save your world. I couldn't save any of them." You get it happens. When else does it? It comes up a few times where other in the whole series, even after Eccleston's run, where people say like, the Time Lords or the Time War went on to affect and devastate a bunch of other planets and species and stuff. So it would make sense, even if she wasn't affected, that she would know about them.
Yeah, but like a lot of other people don't.
What people specifically?
I don't know. Like, do you mean just creatures we meet and it's like, oh, I'm a time.
Do you mean in this episode or just in general?
In general, like throughout.
Well, I mean, it's like anything, I suppose, isn't it? It's like, again, like, I don't know. I could talk about, Bob Dylan. He's a very famous, songwriter and artist, and loads of people would know who he is. But there are equally millions of people that I bet if I spoke to them about Bob Dylan, they wouldn't know who he is.
Yeah, but do you mean like it's just kind of weirds me out that this far in the future?
But again, that's the thing, because of the way the Time War worked, we don't really know how far and vast its reaches were. Again, like, maybe the only reason we don't know about it on contemporary Earth is because it's not because the Time War didn't happen in 2005. It's just because we didn't have communication with people out there in the stars because we hadn't left Earth yet.
I guess.
But yeah. So anyway, Jabe says she scans the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
She knows he's a Time Lord. And again, Eccleston's so good, man, because he's
crying.
He cries. It's the first time I think that the Doctor ever cries on screen. Tennant will do it a lot. But
the little emo bitch.
Yeah, but yeah, there's this like nice sort of like front on shot, and yeah, Eccleston's he's got really like tearful eyes, and then there's the one shot where he kind of like turns his head because he's looking like at the camera, and then he finally turns his head to look at Jabe, and then there's like one tear just like rolls down his face, and you're like, oh man, powerful acting. He's good.
So at this point, Rose wakes up, I think.
No, so this is when they go into the big room with the massive fans, and they find one of those metal spiders in there.
Oh yeah.
And it climbs up the wall. The Doctor tries to sonic it, but he seems to be struggling. And that's when Jabe kind of like, I don't know what she does. She goes like, whoosh, and she kind of like shoots like a tendril or a vine or something out of her hand, and she grapples it in like she's Batman.
Yeah.
Again, they have a weird like interaction where she says, "Oh, I'm not supposed to like get these out in public," and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I won't tell anyone." Which is kind of cute, I guess.
Kind of cute, I guess.
Yeah, the Doctor's flirting again. Yeah, this is when we cut back to Cassandra, and she says she's going to play a traditional Earth ballad, and then we get
for the death of Earth, a
Yeah.
traditional Earth ballad.
and then she starts playing
Toxic
by Britney Spears.
This kind of stuff is whiplashing me. Like I can't.
It's so Russell.
I can't be dealing with the fact that Toxic is playing in Doctor Who, especially as like
the licensed music doesn't really happen again. I don't think.
No, does it even happen like after this series? Does it even happen like again in general?
I don't think it does. I don't think you get like contemporary music, other than like I think in the odd Christmas special, there's like in the Runaway Bride when they go to the reception and you can hear like Slade playing,
or the Pond's wedding.
What's playing there?
I don't know.
Oh right,
but I feel like the Doctor dances to stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Matt Smith, because he does the weird like inflatable tube man dance, doesn't he?
So I feel like there's going to be something there. But yeah,
I don't know. Again, like in the Doctor dances, there's some kind of old timey music. But I don't know what that is. But no, I don't think we get any like contemporary like pop music again.
No.
If we do, we'll keep an eye out for it. If it happens, then we'll mention it. But yeah, as Toxic is playing, and by the way, Toxic was never actually released as a 7-inch vinyl. So
someone's created that.
Yeah, that's a prop made by the studio.
No, I just meant in the history of Earth.
Oh right, all right, I see what you mean. No, I mean, yeah, but the prop department had to make that vinyl with a fake. I'm assuming they just got a blank vinyl with a prop vinyl, but they had to make that sticker because Toxic wasn't released as a 7-inch vinyl.
Yet.
Probably
I mean,
is in the 5. What was it? 5 something Apple /26. Yeah, don't know. Yeah, so as Toxic is playing, Rose wakes up in one of the observation rooms after she was knocked out, and the sun filter's been dropped in that room too, so it looks like she's going to meet the same fate as the steward.
Yeah.
And you get that sun filter descending, and it's coming down, full on like Bond thing, like in Goldfinger with the laser going between his legs. The Doctor runs up. He hears her screaming through the wall. He's like trying to sonic the panel.
Yeah, he's like, is there anyone in there? And she's like, it's me. And he's like, yeah, of course
it would be you. Yeah. He manages to stop it, but he can't open the door.
And then it starts going again.
Yeah, he stops it. He sends it back up. Then it starts going down again. And then he does manage to stop it. But he can't open the door to let her out. So he says, stay there.
Yeah. She's like, where am I going to go to Ipswich or something?
Yeah.
Touché.
Yeah. Do you have anything
Well, I have a little thing.
Yeah.
So obviously, one, I know. I should be making nitpicks like this because it's Doctor Who.
Do it.
And you just got to take it on the chin, haven't you?
Yeah, do it.
But Rose looks straight at the freaking light. She's just like straight at the sun that's beaming through. She's okay. It's fine. And also,
again, you can make a sci-fi excuse for that. You can say if it's exoglass that's got a sun filter on it. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's burning the room. It's disintegrating. Like as the lights, like as the thing is coming down, and like you have that strip that's beaming through, and it's literally burning the walls.
Yeah.
And she's just looking at it. I'm sorry.
It's not going over her eyes, though, is it? Like,
no.
the line's not going over her eyes. So she's probably looking at it from under the line that's coming down.
Yeah, but still, you'd still have like a... She's still looking at it.
Mm.
Anyway, my other thing is, right, so you say the Doctor's had his vehicle parked.
Impounded. You got a ticket.
Well, he said park it properly, didn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't want to scratch.
No. The TARDIS is there.
What's your point?
We'll carry on. But I do have a point.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yeah, so Rose is locked in that room.
Mm-hmm.
So the Doctor goes back to the main hall where everybody is. They want to know who's responsible, so he puts the little spider down and he says it'll go back to its master.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of wanders over to Cassandra. She pulls like a... Have you seen those memes with LA Noire?
Yes,
there's something about like how bad like the
like,
facial capture is, where it's like
mm.
oh yeah, people will have these like subtle like facial movements if they're lying, and someone's like bending their face, going me, I can't be the villain.
I like how it tries to like, because you're like, of course it's Cassandra, and then they're like, no,
we subverted your expectations.
It's the meme.
Yeah, the spider goes over to the adherent to the repeated memes.
And then Doctor's like, meme isn't real.
That's exactly what he says. No, it goes to twat the Doctor the same way it does Rose, and he literally just grabs its arm and just rips it off. You like pulls a cable in the arm, and somehow it shuts down all of them.
Again.
And he says it's just an idea. They're robots being controlled. A decoy for the real mastermind.
And it's like, go back to your
He goes, go on, Jimbo, go back to your master.
It kicks it. Yeah. It like,
and then it goes over to Cassandra.
And
dun, dun, dun. Who just saw that coming? Yeah. So
and then she's like, surgery's expensive.
Yeah.
I wanted to get...
So this is when her boys that are like moisturizing her point their things at the Doctor. What are you going to do? Moisturize me.
I love the fact that he says that.
He's so sassy. I love him. He's so good. She says, with acid. And that's when he's like, oh, okay. Mm. She says she wanted to stage a hostage situation with herself as one of the victims. But now, because of the situation, she's going to have to change the plans. Yeah. So she's just going to let the place burn, while shares in their rival companies will triple in price.
Yeah, because they're dead.
So she tells the spiders to turn off the force field that's protecting the platform from the sun. Mm-hmm. They do, and she teleports away.
Yeah.
This is the point where everyone starts panicking, so the Doctor and Jabe go back to that fan room from earlier, and they've got to pull a certain switch to put the shields back up. But the thing is, there's this massive... it's so convoluted. There's a massive walkway with... I think there's 3 fans.
Or like propellers.
Yeah, and they're spinning, and they're like the air conditioning system that keep the whole station cool. But for some reason, they go over this walkway.
Yeah. Why?
It's a bad system.
How do people usually get there?
Well, that's the thing.
No, because she's pulling this thing down.
Yeah,
and it's still not stopping.
So there's a lever on the side that they're on that they have to pull down, and that slows the fan blades down.
Yeah.
But when they let go, it shoots back up and they speed up again. So one of them has to hold it down. So Jabe holds it down.
And the Doctor takes his mother effing time Like, he's just, like, glancing over his shoulder at her, like...
She wasn't going to make it anyway.
I don't know.
No.
He really hesitated. She even was like,
I mean, to be fair, you would.
I don't know, because...
Saying that, you can't regenerate.
One, I can't regenerate. Two, he literally uses, like, the Force.
Right.
But it's like, but it plays like either doctors or...
So he says, Jay pulls the lever down to slow the fans down so the doctor can pass through and get to the other side. He says, no, because the place is getting hot.
And
you're made of wood. You're going to burn. She's like, well, hurry up. Make it count then. So he kind of just smiles and he goes over. By the time he gets past the second fan blade, though, she catches fire.
How dry is this woman's skin?
Well, she's wood.
Have you tried to set fire to, like, wet wood? Shut up. Have you seen, like, it don't work. So she must be, like, bone dry. Just completely, like, just crisp. Just crispy, bone dry wood. Because she just went, and that was it.
Yeah,
she was off.
I guess. Yeah.
The doctor didn't even look like he was sweating.
Yeah, so the way this works is like to address your thing. So normally, when at the end when he pulls the switch to take the shields back up, he obviously walks back over.
Yeah.
And I think normally when the station is running as it should be, the fan blades spin slowly enough that you can safely walk through.
Yeah.
It's obviously because the station is getting so hot, the fans spin faster to cool the place down, and that's when it becomes a bit crazy. It's still a really bad design.
Yeah.
And it's a bit video gamey, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it great that when the station is freaking out because it's getting too hot, the way to reset it so it cools down is to walk past these really fast spinning blades. Genius.
Awful design. Literally just have those fan blades just like, I don't know, 5 feet higher.
Yeah.
And then even when they're spinning, you can just walk underneath them.
I mean, they weren't scraping across the platform.
I mean, they weren't scraping the floor, but I think they were too low that the doctor couldn't have, like, laid down and crawled under them. I think they were too low for that.
Only if Cassandra was on the good side. You could just slid her.
Like a piece of paper sliding under a door.
Oh, no, she would have... If Jabe got into that room and she was like... Cassandra would have just been like... She instantly just...
Yeah, I love the idea of, like, peeling Cassandra's skin off that frame and flinging her like a frisbee across the room. Yeah. But anyway, Jay burns after the doctor gets past the second fan.
Yeah.
Obviously, because she's burned, she's let go of the lever. They start speeding up again. He can't buy enough time to get through the third one, so he kind of closes his eyes, uses the Force.
Walks through these...
And he just...
They're so fast. And
I don't know how to explain this. This is just
in the gap.
Time Lord shenanigans. Again, there's a lot of things in this episode that are like, none of them like bother me that much, to the point where it like drags the episode down. But there are a lot of conveniences, and that there's a lot of like, wow, that like this threat has been engineered to be a threat. Like, in reality, this would not be a problem.
No.
And then how they eventually get out of these situations is also very convenient.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me that much. But, yeah, the doctor...
It's good as one of us.
The doctor walks through that third fan, and he pulls the switch. The shields come back up on the station, which protects Platform 1.
Yeah.
Just in the nick of time as the Earth roasts.
Well, no, it doesn't roast, it pops.
It roasts at first. You see that shot of like...
The fire grower in it.
The fire goes over and like roasts all the trees and stuff.
And it's just...
And then it kind of stays there for a second, and then it goes... and kind of explodes.
Just pops.
Yeah. By the time the doctor gets back, you see him talking to the other trees. Basically, we don't hear it, but we're assuming he's telling them that Jabe's dead.
Rose is just shaken because she almost died.
Rose has now come out of that room. I'm assuming turning the shields on opened that door.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
The Mox of Balhoun's dead.
Yeah, she's in there. She's in the room still, and he's like trying to put the shields back on, and like the walls around her are like setting on fire.
Yeah.
And then he turns the shields or the shields back on, and then it's like glass fixing.
Oh, yeah. Exoglass repair.
Yeah, and exoglass replaced. Sorry.
Oh, that was a throwback. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. So.
Why have you done this?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
the Moxel Balhoun's dead.
Yeah.
Top 10 saddest anime deaths.
Poor face of Bo has been boiled. He's still alive because, as we know, he likes warm water. But I think it's
as we know.
Well, yeah. That's why they were fixed. I don't think you are paying attention. You fake fan. The plumber was there to fix the hot water for Face of Bo.
I know
you
that.
You were literally there. Like, you saw her and you were like, blue.
Can I just say, I did know that. I was laughing at the fact that you were saying, as we all know, as if that's something like every one of the British population knows. As you know, the Face of Bo loves some hot water. But also, even if I did miss that was the same scene I said that I was making a note in. So if I did miss it, same excuse holds up.
No excuse, because you've seen these episodes like 1 billion times. No.
No.
It would be an
5
excuse
billion
for me.
/Apple/26 times.
Exactly. It would be an excuse for me, but not for you. I'm sorry, you let your guard down.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
You should be. But yeah, so...
so it's Rose is back. Some people are dead, including the Moxel Balhoun.
Yeah. Poor blue boy.
Yeah. Although the guy that is a little actor that plays the Moxel Balhoun, he is also the same guy that played the space pig in Aliens of London, which is in like 2 episodes' time.
They pick the episodes for him, don't they? Oh, bless him. Just give him a good episode. Do you know what I mean? Like, one is just not like sad.
Pick an episode where he doesn't die.
Sad alien dies.
Yeah, I think there's another alien he plays as well. I think he's also the android.
The android.
The android. I think.
I have no idea. Anyway.
Yeah.
The doctor is mad.
Yeah, so the doctor is mad. So obviously Cassandra's pissed off.
Yeah. He cracks an egg.
Yeah, he says the teleportation field
through a solar flare.
Through a solar flare needs a certain amount of power, so there should be like a transmitter or something behind.
Yeah. And then he just smashes
the ostrich egg. Great first guess as to where it would be hidden.
Again, yeah. And then just like
what makes me laugh is he says, if you're very clever like me, then you can reverse it, and all he does is just twist it.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't sonic it. He doesn't like, I don't know, plug anything into it or like bypass it. He literally just twists a knob on it. Yeah, very clever like me.
And Cassandra comes back.
Yeah, Cassandra comes back.
On her own.
On her own. She hasn't got her lackeys anymore. She tries to save Face. She says, oh, well done, you passed my test.
And he's like, people have died. You are a murderer. And she's like, well, it costs money to look this thin.
Flatness costs a fortune.
Hell, if that ain't true.
Yeah, and she's going off on one, and she starts to creak.
Yeah.
And basically, it's gotten so hot in the station.
Yeah.
That she's starting to dry out.
And the doctor, even though Rose is like, do something to help her, he's like, no.
Yeah, Rose says help her, and he says no. Everything has its time. Everything dies,
and then
because her moisturizers haven't come back with her. She's on her own.
Yeah.
So
she just crisps.
It's quite gory, isn't it?
Yeah, her eyes go red, and like her face is like cracking, and then
I'm not even thinking that, because that's all obviously like a digital effect. But when she inevitably like
pops.
It's
just like a weird balloon, just
but there's like blood and everything.
There's not blood.
There is. Not like a blood splatter.
No, there's like red on the skin.
You can see the blood in the flesh. Yeah. Like it's quite graphic, I think, for a BBC family show.
So, you have always said that you never found Doctor Who when you were younger to be that scary.
Yeah.
But again, I did.
You found it scary?
Yeah. Like, I was talking to my mum about this. And she was saying that even she said it was like quite intimidating compared to like the originals, because she watched some of the originals.
I mean, Doctor Who's always had that reputation. I think I'm the outlier.
Yeah,
because Doctor Who's always
you're
had
weird.
It's always had that reputation, isn't it? Of hiding behind the sofa, and all that stuff. Daleks were the big one back in the old days. With the new series, the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, you're just weirdly unfazed by this stuff. I was just like,
I've always kind of been into horror.
Oh God, no, please.
Do you know what I mean? I think once you've consumed enough sort of like horror media, horror movies, and you've stayed up at night reading creepypastas and like,
yeah, no, I'm good.
Like no sleep websites and stuff.
I don't need those. I can manifest that myself. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. At that point, Doctor Who is just Like there are some things that I can acknowledge are scary. Like I think we'll get to it in a little while, but I think the Midnight Entity is terrifying as a concept, but not in a way for me where I am actually scared watching it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not jumpy. I'm not like actually like shaking watching it. I won't have nightmares about it, but I can acknowledge, yeah, that's a scary thing.
See, mine is more, Dark Water? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the Nethersphere and the afterlife.
Yeah. That freaks me out. That's
existential, though, isn't it? That's existential horror as opposed to like inherent like a monster coming after you.
Yeah, I didn't need that, but we'll talk about that.
I mean, it's the Moffat ones that scare people. If you ask a lot of people what Doctor Who monsters freaked you out, Weeping Angels, the Vashta Narada, the shadows, and hey, who turned out the lights, and the Empty Child.
The Empty Child, yeah. For me...
It's a lot of the Moffat stuff that freak people out.
See, the ones that freaked me out when I was younger were the typical Cybermen and the Daleks.
Really?
I think it's because... I mean, obviously the Empty Child did as well. It's a lot of, like, body horror. So you have that thing of, like, obviously being exterminated. They're, like, electrocuted. You can see their skeletons kind of thing. That freaked me out. Again, with, like... Cybermen like taking their brains and like kind of.
So is it the actual like seeing the extermination that's scary, or?
Yeah, well, that's what I think scared me when I was younger, because it was like shock. It was like, what is this? Oh my God! And now I'm scared of Daleks.
I'm not anymore. Like Weeping Angels are kind of scary in concept because
I don't think they're that bad.
Well, that's in concept they're scary because it's again they're designed in a way where. When you're at your most vulnerable, which is when you're not looking at them, that's when they can get you. But maybe
what happens to you isn't that bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, not only is like they don't, well, at least in Blink, they don't outright kill you; they send you back. But then it's also you don't watch somebody like writhe in pain or die. No. They just kind of touch them, and then they go and disappear.
Yeah, which we haven't seen, have we? I don't think that's on screen. Like actually, someone being. Taken.
Yeah. Rory. It happens to Rory in Angels Like Manhattan. Do you remember right at the end they're in a graveyard and Rory's talking to Amy and the camera's like center onto Rory and then you see him go and fade away and then the angel's kind of behind him like pointing forward.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway, so yeah, let's get towards. So yeah, that's pretty much like.
So obviously the doctor, Rose asks the doctor to save Cassandra. He says, everything's got its time.
Yeah.
Again, this is
the no humanity side of him.
Yeah, this is like, I don't even think it's that he's cruel and
he's just angry.
Well, that's the thing. I don't even think it's this thing of like, oh, I hate you so much that I'm going to let you die. I think it's she has had her time.
I mean,
do you know what I mean?
Like, she was like 200 years old.
I feel like if Cassandra were just a regular person, I feel like maybe he would have.
Yeah, when she's like, it's one of those things that he knows that, let's be fair, if he didn't do anything about it, she'd do it again because she'd want more surgeries.
Yeah, again, if she were just a regular person, everything's the same, but she was just a normal person, I think maybe he would have. But I think the fact that he knows that how long is a human supposed to live? Even in the super future where we've got like new meds and stuff, would say at most 100, maybe.
Well, this is the thing,
and you know that she's we don't really know how old she is, do we?
Yeah, she says she's like 200, 300 years old.
Oh, does she?
Or something.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, Rose literally says like you're not human anymore. Like, what? Everything that was human has been taken away.
Yeah, thrown in the bin.
Yeah. You're just a bitchy trampoline.
Lipstick and skin.
So Rose then obviously is like upset because, as she says, we were so busy saving ourselves. Nobody saw the world end.
Yeah,
it just
the Earth
happened.
exploded and no one was actually looking at it because they were so concerned with themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think the Doctor knows that she's a bit upset about that, so he literally just takes her back to some random street, and he's like,
go.
and he gives her that speech where he says, you know, the human race, you see things like concrete, and you think it's going to last forever, but it won't.
Even the sky.
Yeah, even the sky will eventually disappear. Nothing lasts forever. This is when he mentions that his home planet
is gone.
Is gone. He's the last of the Time Lords. He said it went in a war. She says, war with who? He doesn't really answer.
And she just leaves it, doesn't she?
I think she kind of just, again, she knows, like, sensitive subject, and she doesn't press it. She lets it go. And then she gets distracted because she smells chips.
Yeah, he's like, what do you want? And she's like, chips.
I smell chips.
I want chips.
Me too.
And then, being the typical Doctor, he doesn't pay.
No.
No money.
Capaldi does exactly the same thing, doesn't he, in Deep Breath, where, like, Clara says, like, oh, let's get coffee.
And he's like,
I haven't got any money. And she's like, well, you're fetching then. They walk off to get some chips.
Yeah.
On Rose.
On Rose. Poor Rose.
I mean, she kind of owes him for the phone, I guess. He gave her a super phone.
He literally mentions, though, he literally says, she does owe him, because she said, like, what was it? He basically says, like, you should see the charge.
Oh, the bill, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think that's amazing? You should see the bill.
Yeah. So I love the fact that...
Just like, credit it to TARDIS Type 40.
I just love the idea of, like, just stupid amounts of money because Rose decided to call him Mum out of the blue, or just Mickey.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. They walk off to get some chips, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, episode roundup. Thoughts?
Again, as you could probably tell, I don't know. It bothers me more than it bothers you that there's so many. Just not.
I don't think they're plot holes as such. It's not like the story doesn't make sense or it contradicts itself.
For a lot of stuff. It's just like
it's conveniences. I think it's stuff that you kind of have to just roll with it.
Russell T Davies wants the audience to be Rose.
Yeah,
he's like, you know this, yeah. Just accept it, and he wants us to just be like, okay.
See, in my head, I've always had that. I think this is a better episode than Rose. But this time, having watched it now, I don't think it is. I think Rose is better.
Again, I agree with you. I think the idea is really cool. I really like the idea of like the Earth ending, and like you have all these really rich people have just come to watch it as a spectacle. But I think the villain and like the kind of, as you say, the danger is very manufactured. It doesn't feel.
I think it might have benefited from not being episode 2, because I think, again, the concept is quite, again, it's kind of like anti-capitalist, isn't it? Again, painting rich people out to be the bad guys, because it's like, look, once you get so rich, you get to this point where you can pay to watch something die. But a lot of that plot stuff gets sidetracked with the Dr. Rose drama of, oh, who is this man that I've run off with, and all that stuff. I feel like maybe if that was established later and then this plot was used in like episode 7 or something, maybe.
But then, like, the further, I know it's completely different, but it like gives me the same vibes of, is it The Long Game? The one with the editor?
Yeah, The Long Game.
It kind of gives me like, not the same, but obviously they're on like a station or a platform.
They're on Satellite 5.
Yeah, I think if they put those closer together, it wouldn't feel as right.
Yeah, I guess, especially because Satellite 5 comes back in the finale then as the game station as well. So yeah, maybe if you had like 3 space stations like that close to each other, I suppose.
So I can understand why they put it there, but yeah, I I don't know. I think it could have done with a rewrite, like a second glance. I think.
I feel like if Russell rewrote that script now, or not even just now, as in 2023,
even
but
if he wrote it like at the end of series 1.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 2. Again, I'm reading the writer's tale, which is obviously like as he's writing series 4, and I actually know his thought process as he writes because he's communicating it back and forth through emails and stuff. Yeah. And I feel like if he rewrote this episode, then he would not have been happy with it, and he would have changed it. Because I'm reading a lot of the stuff that he's written in these scripts, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But obviously, because I know the episode, I know that that's not going to make it to the final cut. And then I'll see like, oh, I removed this for this reason. I'm like, oh, I kind of like that though. I wish that was there, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I think, because I don't really know much about Russell T Davies. Like, I don't know what did he do much before?
But before Doctor Who, he did Casanova with David Tennant. He did Queer as Folk.
Oh yeah, I've heard that's really good.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it was good too. He did it's called like Bob and Rose or something.
I don't think I've heard of that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he did quite new showrunner then, or at least a new writer.
But again, sci-fi.
That's true.
This is like his other stuff is very like
lifelike.
It's current. It's again even after Doctor Who he did. It's a Sin.
Yeah, I still haven't.
He did
seen
something else as well. A lot of it, obviously, as a gay man, he does a lot of like gay drama and writing from that perspective, and a lot of it is set in like contemporary, modern day settings, following usually gay people in the streets. Again, I think Bob and Rose. I think that's what it's called, Bob and Rose. Yeah. I think they're straight. But he writes a lot of this stuff. Whereas I suppose if you think about most of the issues you have with this episode, this sci-fi shenanigans, it's like, well, how do you explain how this sci-fi thing makes sense?
Yeah.
So obviously he's always been like a big Doctor Who fan of like the classic series, but this is his second episode. I mean, he's still finding his footing a little bit.
I agree.
You wouldn't have had as many of those things in Rose because, again,
they didn't have time.
A lot less of the plot is sci-fi based. Again, the Autons don't take up much of that episode.
No, they don't. It's just learning about the characters.
Yeah. But I think even later on in this series, it's better though. With Russell's later episodes, like Parting of the Ways and The Long Game, I think it's handled a bit better.
I think this is why I like the next episode.
Yeah.
Probably so much. Because if you know, I'm assuming you do, listening to this, about the Doctor Who episode plan.
The chronology.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. It
goes back in time. So it's less sci-fi.
Yeah, you do like the historicals, don't you? I love
the historical ones. They're just my favourite. They just give me such cozy vibes.
Thing is, we'll probably talk more about this next week. I keep saying next week as if we do this regularly on a weekly basis.
Well, maybe either weekly or twice weekly. I don't know.
Next episode. We'll probably talk about this more next episode. Yeah. But in Classic Who, there were quite a lot of what the fandom calls pure historicals, which is where they go back and they meet like a famous person or they go to a famous event.
I love that.
But the new series doesn't do pure historicals.
No.
Because it does the thing where it's like, oh, it's historical, but there's aliens. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, so next episode, it's Charles Dickens, but there's ghosts. Or you get Agatha Christie, but there's a giant wasp. Where like in Classic Who, you will go back and see they meet Marco Polo in series 1,
and it's just Marco Polo.
Yeah, it's just historical events. There is no monster, there is no aliens. They just experience historical events, and I don't think in New Who there is any pure historicals.
Do they do in Rosa? I can't really remember. I know.
No, there is sci-fi stuff in Rosa.
Is there? I forgot.
Yeah. There's a space racist from the future that comes back in time to try and...
Oh, yeah, to stop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I forgot about that. I just...
Series 11, man.
My brain just went... Just a racist.
Yeah.
It's just space racist.
No. Yeah, I don't think we actually have one just pure historical in New Who. Again, we'll talk about this in more detail in the next episode, be it since that is the actual... the first, like, historical one. But yeah, so overall episode roundup.
What did you think of it? So you said,
again,
has your opinion gone down? I feel like it has.
It has, but here's my thing. I think series 1, I think I said this in the last one, I think series 1 is technically the best written series. Again, not episode by episode, like quality of the episodes, but as the series arc goes and everything, I think series 1 is very strong. So I think my opinion on The End of the World has gone down a bit compared to how I generally conceive of it, but I still would much rather watch this than the weakest episodes in series 2 or series. Do you know what I mean? I'd much rather watch this than watch Closing Time or watch Fear Her or watch I don't know, The Bells of St. John or watch In the Forest of the Night. I would much rather any day.
No.
Sorry. No. So I don't think there is a bad episode in series 1. Now, I know you disagree with this.
I heavily disagree with this.
I know.
And I know this is controversial.
You love the Moffat era.
I do. And it's, I don't know, again, like I said, just feel like it's more whimsical.
I mean, it is. But, yeah, I don't think there is a bad episode in series 1. I think this is definitely towards the bottom. But even then, like I say, I don't dislike this episode.
Fair enough.
So
that's
where I'm at. Yeah, just a couple of random bits of trivia that I didn't actually fit in. Obviously, I mentioned this one last time, but most of Series 1's CGI budget went on this episode.
Yeah.
And I think it shows, not even just CGI, but the amount of props and...
I mean, the prosthetics.
Costumes, prosthetics.
There's so much. And
they look good.
Really good,
yeah. It does, yeah. Because again, did you know that Moxa Balhoun was originally going to be a puppet?
A fair play for them to, I mean...
It was going to be a puppet like Yoda.
Yeah. I think they made the right decision.
Yeah, but they hired a little actor and they gave him prosthetics and stuff. Yeah. And it looks really good. Yeah. Face of Bo looks wicked. I don't know how they do the face of Bo, but he looks great. Cassandra's maybe the one that's a little bit
jarring,
iffy, but that she's the only one that's CG.
Yeah, and I think obviously because... how would you do that?
Unless I think she's all the others look great because they are actually there in camera. Again, Jabe, she looks really good.
Yeah, I love how Jabe looks. I love her dress. I love just everything.
There's so many cool details.
I think it's such a shame that they burnt her.
Her brothers or friends or uncles or whatever. So, the other dudes are there.
She's so cool. I love her.
She's a good character.
Sad.
Yeah, but like I say, I think Cassandra's objectively the worst looking one because she's the only one that's CG, so she's the only one that wasn't actually there.
Yeah. But even the sun looks cool. Do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the shots of the ship and the sun all look pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not really surprising, is it? The half of the what's it half? I don't know what the exact figure is, but apparently most of the budget went here. This episode contains 203 visual effect shots.
Wow.
Heck. Which were completed over 8 weeks compared to 100 that were in Gladiator. Now bear in mind, I know Gladiator is not sci-fi, but Gladiator is a long feature-length movie with a high budget.
Strange comparison, but...
It's around the same time, I think, wasn't it? Early noise.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Russell T Davies based Cassandra on how many skinny actresses he saw at the Oscars.
Yes, I love you, Russell T Davies.
He saw apparently he saw how skinny a bunch of the female actresses were at the Oscars, and he said these people are basically starving themselves for our entertainment, and he wants to do a commentary on that, so that's what Cassandra was based off of.
I think it's cool the fact that she makes that slight towards Rose, and she's her
chin or something.
Yeah,
you got a bit of a chin or something.
You've got a bit of a chin. We can get that, flatten that out.
She's I'd rather die.
I'd rather die. She's oh no. She's no, I would.
Yeah, and then my last sort of little bit of trivia. You know how you were talking about the things before we started recording, but you were talking about filming locations.
Oh,
and you said you don't have much Cardiff.
No, so yeah, I said I can't have my little input today because I had a tiny little input, but facts wise, because there's nothing I recognise in Cardiff other than maybe the last scene. I'm guessing that's Cardiff Street, probably Queen Street or something.
It is Queen Street.
Hell yeah.
Queen Street is where they come back to Earth right at the end. That is on Queen Street.
Yeah.
And the main room they go in where all the guests are kind of chilling. That's actually in the Temple of Peace in Cardiff.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Again, we should definitely do a tour of like Doctor Who locations.
Right, I think we should do like little shorts where we what's it called? Where we go to the locations and show them in comparison. And I know this is going to be a huge ask, so don't set this in stone. But I think it would be cool if we eventually did like made a road trip. So. Right. So have like iconic Doctor Who episodes set in Wales. Here's an exact road trip you could go see them all, and like make it a little. I mean,
most of it would just be looping Cardiff, wouldn't it?
Yeah, most of it would be like go spend time in Cardiff. Just go spend.
Pretty much, yeah.
Go to Cardiff.
I mean, Queen Street itself has been used like loads of times.
Yeah. I mean, I'm almost certain they blocked it off the other day for the new series.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
I mean, that's spoilers for me, not for who. I don't care if you're listening. Don't spoil things for me.
I'm almost certain it was Queen Street. My mum said they closed off like a load of streets in Cardiff. I know they've been filming stuff in the Bay and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, more to come. More places I'll recognise, and I should recognise them more now because it's now.
Yeah.
And not like,
I don't have to think back to what this place looked like when I was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying that, not that Cardiff has changed much.
No, not really.
No. But yeah. So yeah, visit Cardiff, visit Wales.
You will be disappointed.
Yeah. Eat the Welsh cakes. They're pretty good.
Do they sell, this might be a really dumb question, but do they sell Welsh cakes outside of Wales?
Right.
Like, can you buy them in England?
I don't think you can, no.
Can you not?
Right. Okay, this is... if you want to leave, right, you can. But this is
no one expected it to end this way.
Little side tangent, just for anyone who may care. When we went away to go see someone, see an artist, and we were in Manchester, and I spoke to someone there who went to Cardiff University, and she said that she met, like, her taxi driver made her some Welsh cakes and she absolutely loved them, and she said she's come back to Manchester and she can't get them anywhere, and she's like, I miss Welsh cakes.
Oh, maybe they are then.
Yeah, so I don't think they do, which is a shame, because...
That's weird, because even though they're called Welsh cakes, I don't actually associate them with Wales that much.
No. But they're just like flat pancake scones.
Yeah, with like... Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... Come to Wales.
On that note.
Come to Wales, eat Welsh cakes.
Unless you want to be as thin as Cassandra, then don't touch Welsh cakes.
No. Enjoy.
But yeah, otherwise, thank you all very much for listening / watching.
Thank you for our rambles.
Yeah, we'll appreciate anyone sticking by. I mean, this is pretty much what any of our conversations are like, isn't it? Whether or not we're recording.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chances are if we weren't recording, we'd be having this exact same conversation. It's just now you have to listen to it too. Yeah. But anyways, we'll see you guys in the next episode where we'll be taking a trip to Cardiff on Christmas Eve. But until then, stay safe, stay away from bitchy trampolines. Mm-hmm. And see ya.
Bye.